How you doing, officer? Here goes my license, my registration, my insurance. I got my seatbelt. Any particular reason why you pulled me over, sir? No, sir, officer. I'm not, being nervous or what have you. I just don't understand respectfully why I got pulled over today. Man, I ain't got no time to be catching no cases today. Man, I'm gone. Man, I'm gone. Man, you here banging at the door, man. I think they trying to rob us, man. You got your strap, man. Somebody trying to rob us, man. But, Your Honor, I plead not guilty. I had no clue that it was the police banging at my door. I thought that it was some robbers trying to harm me and my family and rob us. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kens TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Oftentimes people ask me, they say Real Kens. I say Real Kens, why do you not like police? Like, what is your issue with police? And I reflect and I think about all the things that I've gone through in my life, all the things that I've endured, and they were self-inflicted for the most part. But even with that being said, I don't have a problem with the police. You know what I mean? Because I feel as though police are necessary. You need to have order. You need to have, you know what I mean? Just think how this world would be if there were no police. So I'm not saying that I don't like police. I just don't like certain police. I don't like the crooked ones. I don't like the ones that, just do what they do simply because they're in a position to do what they do. Perfect example. Reflect all the way back. And I think about a dude that I knew, and we were cool. We didn't hang out or anything like that, but we came up together. And he was a street dude. He didn't play no games, man. You know what I mean? He was small in stature. He was probably 5'6". I don't know, 130, 140 pounds, skinny dude, black dude, caramel complected dude, kept a low cut, kept a little chin strap beard or what have you. But the thing about him, he was gonna scrap. He was gonna fight hard. I done seen him fight the biggest dudes. I done seen him get whooped, and I done seen him whoop some big dudes. I done seen him, whoop all. If he was your size and you was trying to fight him, or you was his size rather, you ain't even stand a chance. You know what I mean? Dude had, a hand game on him or whatever. Pause, by the way. But, he had a fight game on him, and he was just out there in them streets. Went by the name of Menace. Yeah, Menace. That was his real name. I'm going to use his real name. And I'm sure that if anybody in the streets or that's come up in the, certain neighborhoods or whatever, plenty of dudes with the nickname or the street name of Menace. So I'm saying this dude, Menace rather, he had been in and out of, the juvenile home systems or what have you coming up. Went to the penitentiary at a young age, came home, had his stripes. You know what I'm saying? Got his weight up a little bit, lifted a little weights, but he ain't really, he wasn't banging in a weight pile like that. So he was still relatively small. As I mentioned, man, Menace, he had a street reputation. He didn't play no games. You want to fight? Let's fight. But you want to pick them things up? Then he gonna pick them things up just as well. He didn't just name himself Menace. It's not something that he just said, you know what, man, I'm Menace. Nah, he was given the name Menace. He wasn't going to start anything with you, but you best believe he was definitely going to finish it. So now that I've given you all kind of an outline or the soliloquy or as far as Menace, let's get into this afternoon story. Now, y'all rock with me. Y'all know I tell people, say, Real Kens, we like your stories, your longer stories, 30 minutes or better. So I can't just jump on here and tell a 12, 13-minute story because that's not what the people want. And I'm all about the people. So I have to paint a picture for you and, design or paint an outline or what have you so that you will fully understand and be able to engage fully the story that I'm telling. Menace is at his apartment one day, minding his business. He's with a couple of his partners. They sitting in the house. playing the PlayStation. It was either Xbox or the PlayStation. I don't really remember which one, but it was one of the two. Smoking their little trees or whatever. Just chilling. They done made their money for the day. They going to hit licks or whatever because, Menace was still in the streets. So, hey, man, I need 40. Hey, I need 30. Whatever the scenario may have been, they still hitting their little licks. But, as I mentioned, they're just minding their business. Now, in the meanwhile, the police have gotten into it with an individual. They've pulled an individual over not too far away. When they pulled this individual over, you know how the police do. You know why I pulled you over? I asked you that dumbass question. It's two of them. One's on the driver's side, one's on the passenger side. Now, when I say two of them, I'm meaning the police. The officer on the driver's side, he gets the driver's license or what have you, goes back to his car to do whatever police do to check you out or what have you. And the officer on the passenger side, he's just standing there. Now he got his hand on his gun because he's scared to death. And it's 3 dudes in the car. Of course, you got 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Well, the police officer, like I said, was doing the check on the information to make sure the driver had, the license, insurance, registration, all those things. And the officer on the passenger side discovers that, he says that everybody was acting nervous, fidgety. So that's the reason that he probably already had his hand on his gun anyway. But he was saying that they were acting fidgety or what have you. So once the other officer comes back, everything comes back clean. License, insurance, registration, everything's cool. Well, the officer, he tells that was on the passenger side that they were acting nervous, fidgety. And he said that one of them reached for something, as though they were trying to hide something. Not reach for something that I'm going to pull a gun out and harm you or physically try to do something to you, but as though he was trying to hide something. They asked him, had he been drinking? No, sir. You been smoking weed? No, sir. Do you mind if we search this vehicle? Search the vehicle for what, sir? We haven't done anything, sir. We don't even really know why we got pulled over. With all due respect. So the officers, they're going back and forth, with the individuals that are in the car. Next thing you know, dudes pull off. So apparently they had something in the car. They pull off. Officers jump in the car. They chase them. It's a high-speed chase. Now, it's not on the highway. It's actually a street, like in a neighborhood. So they're chasing them, what have you. And the dudes that are in the car, they're throwing everything that they have. They trying to get it off of them. Throw it out the window. So they're throwing everything out the window, whatever. One thing leads to the next. They jump out of the car. When they jump out of the car, they gone. Now they on foot. They not trying to go to jail that day. Police is chasing them. They done called backup and everything. We was in an area to where, they were in an area rather, to where coincidentally, it just so happens where there's a police station right down the street. Now, for you all that's from Lexington, this happened on Center Parkway. So you would know and be able to validate my story, actually just by the story, because you probably already heard of this story. But if you haven't, you would know that there's a police station on Center Parkway. I don't know if it's still there, but at the time, it was. So, within, a couple minutes, it was hellified backup. They're chasing these individuals as though they just committed a triple homicide or something like that. And again, they ditched the car. They're on foot. Police is chasing them. Now, instead of just the 2 police, it's several of them. Dudes running a building. It's an apartment building. When they run into an apartment building, you got a front entrance, and then they have like a back door. So you can run out the back door or enter through the back door just as well. I wouldn't recommend ever entering through the back door, but in this particular case, you could enter through the back door. Pause. So the dudes, they run inside or what have you, and when they enter the building, because they had like a little, head start as far as the police or whatever. They had like a little distance in between them. They run through the building. Police see what building they run in. They run in after them. When they run in the building, they don't see the assailants, if you will, at this point. They don't see them looking around. They got their guns drawn. One of them says, I think he went in here. I think he went in this apartment. There's 4 apartments on this particular floor. They kicked the door in. Boom. Boom. Because they didn't have, the police have one of those things where they can just, boom, knock the door open, one swing, just boom, and the door's going to fly off the hinges or what have you. Well, they didn't have one of those because it was a foot chase at this point. They kicked the door. They kicked the door several times. Finally, the door comes open. When the door comes open, lo and behold, you got Menace and a couple of his partners in there, as I mentioned, playing the PlayStation or the Xbox. Well, they've heard all this commotion going on and the door being kicked, and so naturally they draw you know what I'm saying? Police come in, but once they enter through the door, Menace is blasting. He's blasting. He shoots or whatever. Nobody gets hit. They return fire. Menace gets shot. He gets shot in the chest, and I believe he got shot in his arm or something like that. He got shot a couple times, 2 or 3 times. I don't remember, the exact spots, but he definitely took 2 or 3 to the body. They come in, they, cuffing everybody or whatever, looking around. Only problem is the people that they were chasing weren't in this apartment. Lo and behold, the police had kicked the door in to some innocent individuals that was in the apartment minding their business. Didn't have anything to do with it. Because one of the cocksuckers, the police said, I think he went in this apartment. I think they went in this apartment. Same way, you know how they do when they say, hey, he got a gun, he got a gun. And they get to blasting, and then the individual gets shot 46 times. And when it's all said and done, he didn't have a gun. He didn't have anything on him. I feared for my life. I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. You know how they do. So, in a nutshell, they done ran into the wrong apartment. They have these individuals. There's many, many officers. So they go looking for the other individuals that they were chasing originally. They never catch up with them. At this point, by them going into the wrong apartment, dudes long gone. They been gone. And whatever they had on them, it's gone. So the only thing you can really, really get them with is fleeing and evading, which is a misdemeanor because it's on foot. Well, actually, I guess it technically would have been a felony because it started out in a vehicle. But that doesn't carry that much time. So you go through all of this to chase some individuals that are running that didn't commit a violent or a heinous act. This is not television. This is not cops and robbers. There's real live people that are on them streets. Kids running up and down the streets on the sidewalks playing. This is a community, neighborhood. But it's in the hood. So they don't care about the kids and the potential people that could get hurt. No, they want to chase these suspects simply because they're just running. And luckily, no one outside of Menace got hurt that particular day. But nevertheless, they take Menace to jail. Actually, they take him to the hospital. Life-threatening shots. Goes to the hospital. He sits in the hospital for a few weeks. He makes it. But the entire time, he's cuffed to the bed. Literally cuffed. Y'all, you done busted in my crib while I'm minding my business, but I'm cuffed to my hospital bed and charged with felon in possession of a handgun, wanton endangerment because he shot when they came through the door, attempted murder, the drugs that they found inside of the house wasn't a large sum or anything like that, possession of marijuana and any other thing they can charge you with. No expired license. That's how they do. Insult to injury. So he's in the hospital for 3 weeks. Once he gets out of the hospital, he goes right to the Fayette County Detention Center. Booked on all charges. He's booked on all the charges. He's blooping out. He don't even know. He's like, man, y'all got me in here, man. His bond is sky high. Again, in Kentucky, your bond is what your bond is. Meaning, if you go to jail, and I would imagine that on those sort of charges, his bond was probably about 100,000. But let's just say it was 50,000. Well, that's what your bond is, 50,000. There is no automatic 10%. Most states is, okay, if your bond's 50,000, automatically 5,000 to get you out. Or you can go to the bail bondsman. There's none of that here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. None of that. So you have to hire you an attorney that's going to come down to court for you on your arraignment, which is typically the next day, unless you get arrested on the weekend, and pretty much petition the court to give you a 10% bond. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Now, you may eventually get a bond, but it's going to be some months. Now, in a violent case like this, to where they're saying that, he shot at the police or what have you, he's not going to get a bond reduction. So this entire time, he's sitting in the county jail. They got 60 days to indict you, which means send it upstairs to felony court. That's all it is. Everything you start out in misdemeanor court, which is district court. But if they want to pursue it as a felony, which it blatantly was a felony, then they have 60 days to indict you. And once they indict you, you go to felony court. All an indictment is it's okay, a crime potentially could have taken place. They always say you can indict a ham sandwich. Anybody can get indicted. It's nothing to get indicted. Now, proving the case once you get indicted is a totally different situation, especially if you have a nice attorney. So he's sitting in there and he's blooping out, man. He's going off because he's in jail. Staff, he's not taking no BS. So they end up sending him to the hole. So he's going to the hole. He can't get no visits. He can't barely get phone calls, commissary, all of that stuff. This is where I met him at. I was a trustee. So I used to bring him little extra stuff, little extra food, because we got cool. I bring him little extra food, trash bags or whatever. Well, real Kens, what does he need trash bags for? Fills it up with water so we can do his curls and work out inside of the cell. I wasn't supposed to do it, but it was what it was. So him and I get cool. He get to showing me the case, his paperwork, and typically you don't want to do that in jail, show people your paperwork or whatever, but he had nothing to hide. And he knew I was a cool cat. I guess he was a good judge of character or whatever. He had absolutely nothing to hide. So the entire time where this is going on, his defense was, this is an illegal search and seizure. He's just knowing that when we have our hearing, which is called a suppression hearing, this is illegal search and seizure. Yeah, we know that you all were looking for this individual, but that didn't have anything to do with me. You all kicked my door in. I didn't know that it was police. I didn't know what was going on. This isn't punishment enough that I done got shot 2 or 3 times and could have lost my life and got me sitting in the hospital chained to a bed. Nah. So he's just knowing that he's going to win that hearing. The problem is, these judges at a low level, when I say a low level, like at the circuit court level, they don't want to go against the prosecution or the police, or because they all their paychecks say the same thing. They work for the same people. And every once in a while, you run across a judge that's, morally would do the right thing. But most of those type judges, they don't like. So he's feeling confident. He got his family there, his girl, everybody. They're thinking that he's going to win this suppression hearing this day and go home. His lawyer presents a good, a great argument. You can't just bust in somebody's house. There are amendment rights. You can't just, even if the police say, let me give you an example. If the police say, I live in this house, I live in this red house right here, and they come and kick my door in. Well, why did you kick the door in? Well, we got a call that there was drug activity going on in this red house. Okay, well, you all got a call, but a call from who? Now, if it's a call from an individual that's just like a neighbor or something like that, no, it's inadmissible. They can't just kick my door in. That's illegal search and seizure. Now, if they have someone that's deemed to be a confidential, reliable informant, which means they're on the payroll, which means that they've been reliable before in the past. So we have no reason to not trust this information that we're getting from this individual. Okay, now you maybe. But even that is questionable. You all kicked this man's door in based on, oh man, I think he went in this house, this apartment. So his lawyers presenting all the evidence. The detectives, they're on the stands. It's about a 4-hour hearing. At the end of the hearing, the judge doesn't render his decision. He has to go back and look at some things, and he basically says within a week or so, I'll have my judgment. Once again, Menace, he's feeling pretty good. His lawyer's feeling pretty good. They come back to court in a week. The judge cites all the things that the police did wrong, all the reasons that raised the eyebrow and were of concern that the defense attorneys, raised, which was Menace's attorney. But at the end of the day, after scolding the prosecution and the police for how they handle things, guess what? Guess who they sided with? The good old Commonwealth of Kentucky. The case will proceed. Menace is like, man, this is effed up, man. They offer him plea deal after plea deal after plea deal. They end up offering him they got all the way down to 8 years. Now, at this point, when they offer him the 8 years, he done already been locked up for, because it's a process when you get caught up like it's like your cases don't just go away overnight. He done already been locked up 14, 15 months fighting this case at this point when they offer him the 8 years. Nah, man, I'm going to trial, man. I'm going to trial. I'm not taking no 8 years. 8 years for what? I ain't even do nothing. What did I do? People kick my door in, man. I'm in a bad neighborhood. I'm in the hood. I didn't know that it was the police. I did what I was supposed to do. He going to trial with it. He feels as though at trial, this issue could be raised that they illegally kicked this door in. So therefore, you have to acquit me. It was a danger in him going to trial, though, for the simple fact that you are a felon in possession of a handgun. There's no way around that whatsoever. Even if you shot at the police or whatever, and they found the drugs and everything that they found, you are still a felon in possession of a handgun. But I guess when you really, really think about it, if they weren't supposed to kick your door in, then they never would have, you never would have shot at them. You never would have had the handgun. Well, you had the handgun, but they never would have known that you had the handgun. So that was his defense the entire time. A brave decision. Young black man named Menace. 12 jurors, all of them's white. We're not gonna make this a racial thing, but man, we're gonna call a spade a spade. They all, they all white. They not trying to really, give you the benefit of the doubt when you got these seasoned police officers that's getting on the stands that's supposed to be for us, that's supposed to be for the community, that's here to protect and to serve. When they get on the stands and they tell their version of it, Menace, you don't really have a chance. Goes to trial. Guilty. All counts. Guilty, 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 guilty. 45 years. Because they got sentence enhancements. So they're going to look back and say, okay, well, we're going to give you, we recommend 20 years. But then when you go into the second phase of the trial, that's for individuals that have a criminal record. Oh, we see that this guy is a multi-felon. He done been caught up, over getting caught with guns or marijuana, little stuff like that. He already has prior felonies. So they enhance your sentence. He ends up with 45 years. Wow. I go from playing PlayStation or Xbox, smoking my little trees, not bothering nobody, making my little money, to 15 months later, a 45-year sentence in the Department of Corrections. He didn't get a regular 45 years. See, a regular 45 years, you do 8 years, and then you see the parole board. He got a violent 45 years, which means you do 85% of your time. Or 20 years straight, whichever one is greater. So even if you get 100 years, you have to see the parole board after 20 years. Menace was going to have to do 20 flat to see the parole board. Now, he already had 15 months in, so he was going to have to do, 18 months and some change to see the parole board. 18 years, rather, and some change to see the parole board. Automatically, when you go to trial, you get a direct appeal, what have you, if you get anything over 15 years. So he gets an appeal. He's appealing the cases or what have you. But appeals, only 5%, roughly at the time, only 5% of people are granted an appeal. So when you're convicted, it's like, I'm going to give his time back. Oh, man, I'm going, I'm going to appeal it. Yeah, you'll appeal it. But 95 times out of 10, or out of 100, your appeal will be denied. He took it to a couple levels, because you always started off in, you started off in the circuit court level, then you go to the next level, then you go to the next level, and at some point, Supreme Court, they looked at his case. Hold on, something's not right. Something's not right. Go through his case, look at everything that actually transpired. 7 years later, at this point, appeals take time. He wins his appeal. Sentence gets vacated. When your sentence gets vacated, that means you start the whole process all over again. Went back to district court. They give you an arraignment. They got to re-indict you. You're not in prison anymore. You're in the county jail, because once your sentence is vacated, it's like you were never even convicted. Goes through the process. Sits in the county jail for probably another year or so. The people understand that they don't have anything on him. They understand that the police operated in the wrong manner. Now, the reason that we're going to take this back, actually, the reason that the judge decided to side with the prosecution and the police is because, and there's a term for it, and I don't remember, but basically what it comes down to is the police, even though they went in the wrong house, they were operating in good faith. In good faith that they thought that this individual went into this house. So being that they were operating in good faith, it was legal for them to pursue a suspect that they were chasing. Didn't know why they were chasing, other than the fact that they were just chasing him. In good faith, they were trying to do the right thing. But there's a terminology for it, and I just don't remember what it is. I used to be in them law books all the time, but, I done been out for a lot of years, and I ain't really got to deal with that type of stuff at this point. But there's a name for it. So that was the reason that the prosecution were able to win the actual suppression hearing or evidentiary hearing, whichever one you want to refer to it as. Second time around, he's going through the entire case or what have you. Like I said, he'd been locked up for a year. They offer him a plea deal again. They offer him a 10-year plea deal. 10 year, actually, I take that back. So let's take that back. They offer him a 15-year plea deal. Felon in possession of a handgun and wanton endangerment. So you say, well, man, why would he take a 15-year deal? They offered him 8 originally, if you're really, really following the story. But now they're offering him 15 years. Why would he take that? Here's the thing. The reason that he would take consider taking the 15 years is that he had already been locked up at this point, he already been locked up 9 years probably. Roughly 9 years. Because what I say, he did 15 months in the county. Then he went to trial and got convicted. Then, it was 7 more years until his sentence was vacated. So it's 8 years. Then he was in the county again for another year. So that's 9 years. He had taken programs in prison. You could take programs to get time knocked off your sentence. So in his mind, it's like, man, if I take his 15 years, I'm going to probably sit in here another couple months. They process my paperwork, send it to the Department of Corrections. Once they calculate my time and all my good time and everything that I've accumulated, I'm served out. I'm gone. Another 2 or 3 months, I'm gone home. I don't got to deal with this no more. Or I can sit in this county jail. Prosecution, they use a tactic to where they keep putting the trial off or what have you. So you may have a trial date of August the 8th, and you might not go to August the 8th of 2024. You may not end up going to trial until October the 8th of 2025. They use that tactic against you because they know that you hate that county jail. So he's thinking about all of these things. He's thinking about, if I go to trial and people knock my head off again and give me another 40, 45, 50 years, what does he do? What any reasonable person would do. He took the 15 years. Takes the 15 years, pleads guilty. 2 or 3 months, Department of Corrections, they calculate his time, his paperwork, what have you. And he comes home to his family. He gets out. He's back out on the streets. But look at all the time that he did. I know. You'll say, yeah, but real Kens, man, what was he doing with the drugs? What was he doing with the guns? What was he... And you got a point. But at the same time, there's chains of commands. There's rules that you must follow. And oftentimes, that's why you see so many individuals get incarcerated for such long periods of time, because they don't have 15, 20,000 to give a lawyer. And that's on the low end. You know, they don't have the money to get the private investigators, to hire the experts. But the state does, the Commonwealth does, and they bring all of these people in to do the forensics and the ballistics. And if you don't got no money, man, you better take that plea deal. And to be perfectly honest, I would have taken the 8 years that they originally offered me. Just on the strength, I would have took it. Man, I can't beat these people at trial. I know that I have a great opportunity to win a trial because they didn't do the things that they were supposed to do by law. But when you're in a Commonwealth state, they make their own laws and rules up as they go. Facts, big facts. Not sure exactly what Menace is doing these days. I know that he's out. I've seen him on social media, but you know, we don't hang out. We never hung out. I just knew him. We came up together, what have you. And hopefully he's getting his, you know, he's gotten his life together, what have you. Because this was many years ago. So at this point, he's still out. So perhaps he's doing the right thing. But who am I to judge? I can't judge anybody. It took me a few trips before I finally turned it around and got myself together. But this is not about me. The police, again, I know that they are necessary. And maybe they really did think that he went into that apartment. But just think about it, man. Just think about this. This man could have lost his life. The other individuals that were in the house could have lost their life. If you're in your home, you're chilling, you minding your business, and you hear all of this commotion at the door. Boom, 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 boom. You got your protection right there beside you. You're not thinking anything about this being the police. Only thing you're thinking of is, I got to protect myself. And lo and behold, shot 2 to 3 times. I want to say he got shot 3 times. I'm pretty sure it was 3 times. Nearly lost his life, man. Street life, man. When you're out here in these streets and you doing wrong, because ultimately it's wrong. Rather they had a permission to kick your door in or come and pursue, it's wrong anyway. And these type of things happen. Slippers count. They often say that in the streets. Slippers count, man. And that slip up could have potentially cost you your life, man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Real Kens TV, man. Shout out to Menace.